Hi everyone, welcome to Inner Growth. Healing is a journey. I'm Wendy Rodriguez. Today's little talk is gonna make me feel very vulnerable and I'm a little nervous. That's okay. Today's video will be on body image and how I've probably spent most of my life having a distorted body image of myself. I think it was maybe like at 6 or 7, I kind of started getting a little bit heavier. And I honestly, like everyone always says like, oh, you get a little chunky, you know, in elementary, you're a little chunky and then you like thin out. I, for some reason, just felt like I was huge. And so most of my elementary school days were spent being the friend of the little boys that I wanted to have crushes on me, and they didn't. I was more of just like a homie. And all my other friends had boyfriends or had little crushes, you know. I know my personality has always been something like a staple for me, but my weight I felt like was not my favorite for most of my life. So elementary and up until 7th grade probably, I was heavy. I felt like I was heavy. Then 7th grade, like the summer of 7th grade-ish, I really wanted to lose weight. So I would run every single day on the trail, every single day, and I started eating less. And because I honestly feel like people have like a misconception that like, oh, like eat less, exercise more, you're gonna, you know, be able to cut down the weight and really lose weight. And a lot of the times maybe it does help, but we're not sitting there listening to our bodies and seeing like, why is our bodies holding on to all this weight, you know? I've known people that literally work out a crap ton and lose no weight and eat like a little bird, you know? And so it's not necessarily that formula like A plus B equals C. I would think that it has a lot more to do with it. If you're stressed out, there's no way that your body will have the energy to, you know, break down foods. And usually when you're stressed, you eat a lot more foods that maybe don't necessarily fill you in the sense of nutrition, but fill you in the sense of just, you know, instant gratification. It feels good, it tastes good, I'm gonna eat it type of thing, you know? After 7th grade, I got really skinny, and I also hit the growth spurt. So I went from grade to 7th grade. Maybe I was 5'7", something like that. I was still taller, I felt. And then in 7th grade, 8th grade, middle school, I was 5'10". So I think I had grown the 3 inches, and so I remember being the tallest girls, one of the tallest girls in school. Probably like, there was like 5 other girls that I can remember. Really skinny and tall, right? And so another insecurity where I'm taller than all the little kids, or little boys that I liked, and I wanted them to like me, but I was really tall, but I was finally skinny, so that was really good. And then I started getting people behind my back saying like, oh, is she anorexic? Did she starve herself? Because it was from kind of like from one day to the next, I became skinnier. And so that was like the talk, you know. And after that, I was really upset because I felt like once I'm skinny, I'm going to be super happy. Everybody's going to like me. All the boys are going to like me. I will be, you know, a lot prettier. And that wasn't the case necessarily. I did feel like I was able to wear certain clothes that I felt more comfortable with. I felt like, you know, this just came to me. I started feeling like when I got skinnier, I started wearing more revealing clothing. And I think that it just kind of came with feeling fat and ugly, and now I'm feeling skinny and sexy and pretty. And so I started feeling like I would wear tighter clothes and just like more form-fitting clothes and everything like that. Not a bad thing, but I think that I still had that association that like when I feel heavy, I hide my body, and when I feel skinny and sexy, then I show it off, right? And it's, I guess it would make sense. It would make sense. And so I was like that, you know, skinny, middle school, all through middle school, high school, started doing sports. I played soccer, I ran track, I ran cross country, and I was lifting weights on the side. Like I was just working out. I did get thicker, but I felt like my thickness was more muscle. And my weight, I think in high school is like 155. I'm 5'10", so that's a pretty healthy range, I would say. When I was in middle school, I was 5'10", I'm probably 120, so really small. And then Later on, you know, I had a boyfriend and I would work out all the time and I would still be super into working out. I hit 21 a couple months later, was diagnosed with autoimmune disease. They told me not to play soccer. They told me not to run, not to do too much exercise that will pump my blood way too much. So then I went from, you know, an athlete to still an athlete, but not doing completely anything. So I didn't do anything for an entire year. When I was diagnosed, I was still sad. I was really stressed. I was mentally not okay. And then having all this other medication that I was taking, that literally one of the side effects was like you lose bone density. You start losing muscle mass and bone density. So to me, it was the frustrating aspect of like I spent all of my high school career to get thick and muscular for these 6 months of taking these steroids and all these different things for this diagnosis that I now have at 21, to literally, I could tell my body just disintegrating almost, like getting really, really small. I was on prednisone, and so that's supposed to make you gain weight, but with my brother's help from California, he was like, dude, just start eating healthy. And like, so I was hungry all the time with these steroids, but I'd be eating salads all the time. So I didn't gain weight, which was awesome. I was actually losing weight, which the doctors were like, oh, what's going on? You know, and I'm like, well, because I'm not going to continue to eat a lot of crappy stuff to cause me to be inflamed, you know? So the first year got really skinny, and then I did a 45-day juice where I just juiced the same thing every single day. That one was probably my smallest. I think I got back down to I think the lowest I ever got was 117 at 5'10". That's how, you know. And my arms were like this small. I was wearing 2 pants because I could probably have done 3. I wasn't wearing like bigger clothes because I felt so small. And I'm a cosmetologist, and so I would go to the salon while I was doing this juicing, and I'd get off of work and then go do my hydrotherapy that I had to do every other day. So I was still trying to make money while spending money on my health. And I would have clients, you know, are you okay? Do you look sick? And I'm just like, crap, like why? Just leave me alone. I'm trying my best. And my skin was breaking out so bad because I was detoxing. I was detoxing all over. So my chest was breaking out, my back was breaking out, my whole face was breaking out. So you're like, I'm 117, skinny as hell. I'm in this relationship with my boyfriend, you know. I don't feel beautiful. I have acne everywhere, literally my entire body acne, because I'm detoxing all these toxins out of my body. I'm getting really small. I don't have boobs. I barely have boobs right now. And then when I got 117, no boobs, no ass, no curves. And so I went back into the depression. It wasn't even so much drinking the same thing for 45 days, but looking at myself every single day, working in a beauty industry and feeling like, shit, I'm not beautiful in any way. And luckily I had a really supportive boyfriend at the time where every single day would tell me I'm beautiful. And I was just so disgusted with myself. And I was like, why? This like still makes me want to cry, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like I would see myself and I'd look at pictures in high school and be like, oh my gosh, like I love my body, like my butt was so big, and like I like my like everything, you know? And I just started falling into that like mental disease of people just like wanting the past body, the future body, this and that, this is gonna make me happy, you know? And so I eventually worked on loving the body that I had. After the juicing, I ended up gaining at least 10 pounds. And so then I was finally like 126, 127. I wasn't ever able to get to 130. Like I couldn't, I just couldn't do it. I was eating, you know, more foods, more this and that. But I was starting to exercise more. And so the last 2 years before this year, so I would say 2017, 2018, I was still really small, but I had gained weight. So that was really good. I felt a little bit better about my body. I actually loved my abs. Like I had a really flat stomach, and I loved wearing jeans because like I had no muffin top. And so I was like, oh, thank God. Like it was super good. And so I've gone through all of these emotions with all of these stages in my life, all of these food diets that I've gone on, all of these things. And so a year ago, it's been about a year that I broke up with my really long relationship of 5 years of the same guy, helped me through my diagnosis. I went through stress and hell and back. And so after we broke up, I feel like it almost wasn't like, it was just, I felt like I wasn't gaining weight, and then I broke up, and then I was gaining weight. And so it was just, I don't know if the stress of just everything that came with that relationship just made me, like I'm saying, like, you don't have to eat more to gain more, weight. Some people can't. And it has a lot to do with a lot of different things. It's not just one thing. I think my one thing that I could name off the top of my head was the stress that I had, the stress level I had, not necessarily with him, but just in the relationship in general. What was the significance to me in that, being in that relationship, who I had to be in that relationship, who he had to be. And so once I removed myself from that, I feel like I became free. I freed myself. I freed him. And so I started gaining weight, and I loved it. I loved it until now, which, some people can be like, no, you still look good, but then there's those people that are like, oh, you used to be really skinny and now you gain weight, like, wow, like, there's always people talking. There's always that chatter, always, 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 always. So I'm back now for 4 years, I was like a stick, and now I have more meat on my bones, and now I don't know what to do. Now I feel like, what the hell? Like, I look meatier. I'm not as skinny. My stomach's not as flat. Like, what is going on, and now that I'm not in a relationship, that security of having someone like find you attractive or this and that is, like, to me, more pressured, because it's like, when you had that someone, they loved you for you would hope, unconditionally, and that man did. He really, really, really did. He never made me feel like, oh my gosh, there was times, like, I had so much acne, like, it was so bad, and he was still just like, I don't see it, you look beautiful, blah blah, and like, wouldn't be embarrassed if I went out like without makeup. Like, it was just such a blessing. He honestly, such a blessing. So we're here now. And I'm not happy with my body, but I know my digestion can be a lot better. I do feel like my stomach is flat, and then it has like a little bump to it at the very end, like where my digestion is. So I know from my brother's research, his beautiful research, his genius mind has really helped me to understand not necessarily diet, but just lifestyle with food in general, and how you have to have a balance with everything. And that kind of goes hand in hand with me feeling like, at the start of this journey, I was so focused on food and diet. The second part of the journey, I was so focused on mental health and spirituality. And now I'm to the point of my journey, which is a year later from having broken up with someone, all those stages, all the anger and the happiness and the freedom and the crazy. And now I'm here, and I look at myself, look at my body, look at my mental health. Now I need to find a balance. What is going to be my balance of caring about the whole, and not just every day focus on one thing, and then one thing, and then one thing, and then one thing, like all of it, every single second, all of it. It's all important. And so I decided to go to a nutritionist, and I paid $195 for this consultation. Guys, it was like 45 minutes. And I really did my research on like what she believes in. I want her to believe in the same thing I do. The consultation was great, in the sense that it made me realize that I already knew all of the stuff that she had told me. And I'm not belittling anyone. It's just like, sometimes you need that reminder, like, girl, you already know this. Like, let's say you go, I don't know, to a therapist or a class or this and that, like, because you just don't think you're smart enough, or because you don't think you get it. And then you go and they tell you, and you're like, I already knew it. I already knew that. So you learn more that, like, that you are capable of all these things. And like, some people do need a guide. Some people do need someone like telling them, hey, don't eat this, don't eat this. But I, for one, I think one quality I really, really love about myself is that I'm very disciplined. It's a good thing, and it can also be not a great thing. But in this aspect, it's a really disciplined, being disciplined I'm great at it. It's maybe my athletic mindset, but you could tell me tomorrow, don't eat XYZ, and I will not eat it. For how, like, I'm a competitor. And so what she told me in this thing was, for 90 days, only eat veggies, fruits, and some meats. And I've done stricter diets, guys. I know, hard to believe. Like, I've done a stricter diet, and so I was like, oh, this is gonna be easy. And so I went to Europe in February with my best friend. Super fun. It was so amazing. I ate everything there. But I honestly feel like after that trip, it was kind of the peak of like, I'm starting to eat whatever I want and I'm not really being healthy towards my body. That was the peak of the stress of the breakup and in and out, you know, talking but not talking, still talking, not talking, you know. A lot of that stuff was still going on, and so I was eating more sweets. I was eating more of the things that I never used to eat, which is okay, but I wasn't eating it in moderation. I was starting to work a lot more, just fall back into that same programming of like not giving myself enough time to eat. And when I did eat, it was the wrong things. It was super, super late. I was going out dancing a lot. And so 2 o'clock in the morning, I would be hungry. I wouldn't eat anything bad, but it was like I would eat at 2 o'clock in the morning. That's the thing, you know? And so it was just a lot of party in the sense of just not caring, like just starting to do all these things. And so I honestly feel like I've been really wanting to work on my digestion since February, and I've given every reason to not. I've gone to Mexico about 2 different times since then, and I've ate everything there. I'm like, I'm on vacation, I'm gonna eat whatever, and I usually don't eat dairy, I usually don't eat grains, and I was eating that, and so now I feel like I'm to the point where I'm inflamed. I am inflamed, my digestion's inflamed, I can hear my body just yelling at me like, stop, be healthier, you know. And so today's the day, the first day I start, August 17th, today. I'm starting a 90-day, challenge for myself. And I think it ends like November something, but that's going to be great. So I've always had issues, or I guess I've always had like an insecurity about my skin. Right now, I'm not wearing any makeup. And I've always had an insecurity about my skin. I feel like in high school, I had breakouts here and there. It wasn't until like probably the year after high school, I definitely started breaking out a lot more. And then every year since then, I just kept breaking out more. And then of course with this diagnosis, all the drugs I was on, more, you know. And so, I mean, it got cleaner when I started doing more like vegan and vegetarian lifestyle, but I was still stressed, and so I would still break out. And I personally think with skin problems, it's all in your digestion and your gut health. And so for me to continue to have, you know, acne here and there, at this point I have more scarring than I do acne, like active acne, which is such a blessing. You guys don't even know. It makes me feel so much better. I mean, people still see the scarring, you know, but it's a lot better than it used to be, so I'm happy with it. But my plan has always been to do kind of like almost like a laser like facial type of thing to just like really smooth out my skin. I've always pictured myself, like, I know that having like more of like a refined complexion would already just make me feel a lot better as a person, and so, or as a woman, I would say. And so my plan for this winter, because winter is like the best time to do like the really intensive facials, would be to do like the freeze. It's called something about freezing, so like just like takes layers of your skin off, and so you're super raw and inflamed for a while, and then it just like heals it right back up, and then it smooths it right out, right? And I'm a good candidate for that. I'm fair skinned with like my scarring is red, and so then it would be really good to like get all of that. So with saying that, I feel like after these 90 days, I'm still going to continue with the lifestyle, but I'll have a good balance. I just want to reboot my immune system and reboot my digestion and my gut health. And so I haven't been paying attention to my health for a long time, because I'm like, I'm healthy now, like I'm gonna do whatever I want, I'm young, I'm cured, everything. That's not the thing. You continue to love your body, and you do the things that you need to do to love your body. And so that's what I'm gonna do, and I'm super excited. So towards the end of November, I can then do probably my facial, which will then help with that. And so I'm really excited. I really want to kind of do like a video a week of my journey, because I know because I've done this before, just detox and all that stuff. I know that there will be weeks where I feel like complete hell and have headaches and all of this stuff. There'll be weeks where I have so much energy. There'll be weeks that I feel just so amazing. There'll be weeks that I'll break out. I know that for a fact because of all the detoxing I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be killing all the bad bacteria. So I want to just continue to do videos every week, kind of to help me, but then I think to like maybe get you to, you know, like towards the end of my journey, you like the 90 days, you guys would have like an entire video journal of how it went. And so if you guys ever want to join me or start doing it yourself, then you would kind of, you know, everybody's different, so maybe my symptoms won't be as much as your symptoms, but it would be really cool to have a group of people supporting, you know, and having you guys join me, you know, together. And maybe I'll even, you know, post a couple of my workout videos. I do just a lot of like outside home stuff. So yes, I'm so excited. It's gonna be so good. So I guess I'm gonna show you what I look like now. This will be my first video. And then I will show you what I look like, I guess, 90 days from now. What I look like right now. We will see in a couple months what I will look like later. So that should be good. I'm super excited. I invite you all to join me, either by watching me do it or do it with me. I'm so excited. Thank you all for watching. This video is very vulnerable, but surprisingly, I'm super confident about it because I keep telling everyone, once you turn 26, you just don't care. You don't give a shit. And so there you go. I have no makeup. I haven't brushed my hair. And I just showed you my 2 insecurities, my skin issues and my body image that I have in myself that isn't super great. And I know I'm not the only one that goes through this. I know I have, you know, women deal with this all the time, but I know men do all the time. They are just as insecure as we are. And so I find it beautiful for both of us to be just loving ourselves and our body and what that may be. I want to have better digestion so that I have better health overall. And of course, to look better in my sense, I've always wanted a 6-pack and I want to get one so bad. I've always wanted to compete in a bodybuilder competition, and I know I'm going to do that. And I just think it'd be fun, like, it's just crazy to me. Like, if this is, let's say you believe in this, right? You believe in there's only one life. And if you don't, what if in just this life, what if me being Wendy in this life, I can be the best version of that? Can you, like, if I'm going to be like Jose or Sancho my next life, cool. But this life, I'm Wendy. And I would love to have, like, it just sounds so amazing to me to have like the best body I could ever have in this life at least one time. Like, it would just be so awesome. Instead of just like cruising and being like a mediocre, like, what if I'm just like so cut, so even if it's for a month, oh, it would be so awesome. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna plan on that. Hopefully next year I would be in a competition. It's gonna be so fun, but I know that diet has a lot to do with it, and I know I could start now. I'm just so excited. Remember that you are unconditionally loved, unconditionally valued, and unconditionally enough by just being you. Thank you so much for watching. Please thumbs it up because this is gonna be a cool journey. I wanna know that you guys are there and supportive and everything like that. Love you all. Thank you so much.